All right, so we're back with serial killer whisperer Laura Brand, and we have on again serial killer X for this episode. Laura, so X, how are you? What's going on?
How are you too? Love the show. I just got my paper from the lawyer about my resentencing trial, so we will see how that goes. That's
Wow.
Exciting. I'm sure you're all excited to hear that. Under 1172.6.
What does that mean for you, resentencing?
Well, in my case, they never found a body. They only found part of a head. And they changed the definition of murder. And what happened is in California, person was taking his wife to kill her. She jumped out of the car and killed herself. But the court said, and the way the prosecutor said, he was guilty of first-degree murder. The Supreme Court said, no, she committed suicide. You aided her. And so they changed the definition of murder. This is about 2 years ago in California. And in my case, it was a theory murder. Because on my particular, this particular murder that I'm in here for, I wasn't arrested until 14 years later. This happened in 91. I wasn't arrested and indicted until 2004, tried in 2007. So they didn't even know. They speculated, and you can't speculate. You know, and that's the whole basis of the resentencing.
Okay.
Never had any no DNA, no body, or no witnesses. And in fact, there was multiple witnesses that saw this particular person that was with people that they identified that had nothing to do with me after this person was supposed to be dead. So we will see. We will see.
So what would that mean? Would you get out?
Yeah, I can't wait. Got a lot of old friends to visit.
Or does it just mean that you're eligible for parole?
Well, it'd be resentencing completely to drop the LWOP because I had a death penalty trial. See, in California, if you beat the death penalty, they give you an LWOP without possibly parole. And it's to get the LWOP taken off and be resentenced to something a little bit more suitable. You know, my lawyer said this shouldn't have been anything more than a simple manslaughter. So we'll see.
Laura, what would you had a question there?
Yeah, what was your risk assessment?
A 1. I have the lowest risk assessment there is. I have a 1.
Well,
what kind of scale is it?
Well, hold on. Laura, can you just explain for our audience what a risk assessment is?
Well, it's pretty standard. I mean, it's, their risk of going back out into the world, their threat level of being
How do they determine that? Is it?
Su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Well, every
1 through 4.
1
1
through 4.
through 4. Is 1 being the lowest or the highest?
What is the lowest?
And you got a 1?
I have a 1.
And then what did they do to determine that?
To tell you the truth, I think it's the way your behavior is in prison.
There wasn't any questionnaire or anything?
Oh, no.
So if you're a good prisoner, you're safe for the street?
Oh, if you're a model prisoner, you should be able to have a lower risk assessment.
That's an interesting scale.
Mm-hmm.
And who conducts the test, X?
I think
can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Who conducts the assessment? Is it someone in the prison or does someone come in?
Oh, no, it's it's a combination of the mental health professionals and custody. That's
So,
my understanding.
so basically, based upon your behavior in prison, as well as any kind of interviews that you've had in the past with the mental health professionals, and that's how they determine it?
Yeah, for example, the girl from Susan, the Manson girl, she never had a write-up in her entire, 30 years or whatever, 40 years. So she was a very model citizen, and it just depends on how you act a lot of the time. Like me, I technically had 0 points. When I came in, I had 60, 70 points automatically on closed custody for 5 years, and I didn't get in trouble. I didn't have a write-up in 8 years. And but I'm stuck at a hard 19, they say, meaning I can't ever go to a level 1. I can petition after 7 years without a write-up to go to a level 1. But a level 1 still has to have an electric fence around it. And the problem is the lower you get in the California system, it seems like the worst programs there are. They keep on saying if you act right, you will be able to have more opportunities. And I and everyone around us try to jack up our points before we come down to a level 2 or level 1, because a level 3 has more possibilities, and the lower you go, they want to put you in a 200-man dorm. And I just don't see myself being in a 200-man dorm.
Yeah.
How many murders did you get sentenced for originally?
1.
Just one.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, I have one count. I have one charge. It's on my minute order of a 187, first-degree premeditated murder, and it was a theory of a murder. And I had, when you have a murder case, you have the for example, I had the head DAs of LA County going after me, and they deliberated for, I think it was 7 days. The jury did 7 or 8 days, and then they found me guilty, and then another 2 days for the penalty. And the penalty instead of the death penalty was life without. Even though there was I had a circumstantial case, a completely circumstantial case. Somebody said I did it, who got caught with a loaded .45 Beretta on the freeway, and they dismissed that person's case for the pursuit of justice. And this was an ex-girlfriend, and this is all in the transcripts and everything. So now I just found out, too, my DA that prosecuted me got suspended for a year for unethical behavior of a district attorney. So I might have action to get out. And then I'm moving in with Laura down the hallway.
What? What did you just say?
I'm going to move in with Laura down the hallway. She's going to sponsor me. Right, Laura?
No.
Oh.
So what does your attorney say the timeline is for this resentencing?
I am not quite sure. They are actually doing all this now. For example, I was originally scheduled on, of all days, February 14th, Valentine's Day, and I just got the paperwork yesterday. I got an email a few days ago, and I got all the books today. So in the next month or two, I think. So we will see.
Laura, you have any thoughts on this?
So many.
I would imagine that you have plenty.
Yeah.
I know you're all happy that I'm going to be getting out, if I get out.
Yeah. What would you do if you got
Remember,
out?
I already said I'm going to become an environmentalist.
Captain Planet.
Yeah. What would I do if I get out? Like I said, there's a lot of old people that I haven't seen in years.
I can't remember. Do you have any family on the outside that you're in contact with?
My family's pretty much all gone now.
And how old are you right now again?
Just turned 61.
Okay.
Still young.
Yeah.
Would you go back to Los Angeles?
Hell yeah. I'm going back to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
How would you support yourself?
I do have skills. Believe it or not, I just got a job offer from the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Doing what?
I was telling this to Laura. Let me just say, it pays let me get to that thing. It's $113,742.50 a year, starting salary plus benefits as a helicopter mechanic.
Another aircraft mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So you go ahead.
Pardon me?
I was going to say, so were you a helicopter mechanic before you went inside prison?
Oh, yeah. I had an aerospace degree. Aerospace technology degree, actually. Yeah. I got that as soon as I got out of high school.
Interesting.
You know, that's actually the number one job for intelligent serial killers is an aircraft mechanic.
Mm-hmm. We know about 3 of them. Now we know 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they all seem to live in the same area.
Yeah, we talk about that too.
The vortex of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, it's like Bittaker and Norris. I'm telling you, I remember them now as a kid because we used to all hang out at the park in the Scott Motel.
Yeah.
And I was telling Laura, I remember when you walked into the apartment that he was staying in. It had a square table. It wasn't a round table. Most motels have round table. It had a square one against the wall, and they had a couple of chairs there. I remember that.
Yeah. His sister actually knew one of the girls, or was close. The one we were talking about who was with Bittaker and Norris from Halloween Night.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was his sister?
Un restante de 60 segundos.
His sister's
I went
friend.
to school with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to school with her and got in trouble with her.
Are you talking about Lori or Sharon?
Sharon.
Yeah. Sharon was one of the girls Halloween night. So
on 6th grade.
How we
crazy connection.
It is. How it was discovered was I gave him some of the chapters on the book, and he was like, I know the name Steve, Andy, Dina, and Tina. And he's like, did they go to John Muir? And I was like, yeah, they went to John Muir. He was like, I was in their grade.
That's crazy.
Yeah, imagine that. And
Oh, he'll call back.
He'll call back.
Wow.
Did he ever have any conversations with Bittaker while he was in death row?
No. And he doesn't remember. He remembers the Scott Motel. He doesn't know if he remembers Bittaker and Norris. I'll let him tell you, but he remembers one guy was always in shorts, he said, and one guy always had a camera, and they were older.
Okay.
And he thinks that was Bittaker and Norris. And I mean, it does. The 2 guys with the cameras. I mean, yeah.
So this is crazy.
This is crazy. So what's going on?
I know.
Well, what is it? I mean, this is insane. He was saying this months ago, but we didn't believe him.
No, this was the first time he ever said that. I knew that he grew up in Burbank.
No, I'm talking about the resentencing.
Oh, I know.
Last year, but we were like, yeah, okay, that's never going to happen.
Well,
now he's saying it's going to happen.
Like, yeah, okay. But then again, I did say that too about like, the dismantling of death row. I was like, it's never going to happen. Like they're not going to move him off of death row. And then.
But wait a minute. I know he was only convicted of one, but how many others are there, Laura?
A lot more.
Right.
A lot more. Yeah.
And he even said that if he got let out, that he would do this again.
Yeah. But he has a 1. I don't understand how he has a 1.
How do they come up with this scale?
Well, it doesn't sound very scientific.
No. And this is exactly why I did the questionnaire. This is exactly why, because I was like, you know what? We need a scale so they can't, bullshit, the professionals in the prison.
Right.
Which
Where is he?
He's in
Vacaville.
Oh my God, that's so not far.
Vacaville. Yeah, we were talking. So tell them, I said, you don't know if you really remember Bittaker and Norris, but you remember the 2 guys. I'll let you explain it, what you remember.
The 2 guys, see, at that particular park during the summer and all that type of stuff, there was always the 2 guys. One was in shorts, and they had the cameras, and they were always talking to the girls because there's a big pool there. And what would happen is in the middle of this park, there was a log cabin. And when I would go from my house down to the arcade or down to, there's this place called Big Don's. It was a kind of like a hamburger stand. We used to always get the onion rings there. They were really good. We would have to walk through the park, and all the burnouts and all that coaches and stoners, we didn't get along. So, but all the burnouts would be hanging out there, and you would know these people from school. It's like, hey, what's up, blah, 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 and, drinking beer, smoking joint, whatever it is. And those people were there. And I remember going back to the Scott's Motel, and I was telling Laura, I remember the girl that used to always be hanging out in front of the hotel there at the phone booth because I used to be in my grade. Because back then, they didn't have the 3-way. And back then, you could put in a quarter at that particular dime, actually, and you could go for a long, long time and talk on the phone. And I remember all those people and partying with all those people because there was 2 classes in my high school. The higher up on the hill you lived, the more you were considered a soc. And the lower class were by the freeway, by the Scott Motel room. And those were like the burnouts, but we used to all go to the park together. We used to all go to the arcade together. And I remember them, I'm telling you. And it's kind of odd, though, that we all ended up working at the same, eventually I got older, we ended up working at the same place at the airport,
Yeah, he's talking about McCambridge Park where they picked up Dina, where they approached the model scout.
Yeah.
And that phone booth you're talking about, that's in detail. It's not it'll be in one of the later books. But yeah, Bittaker used to go, there was a phone booth right outside the motel, and he used to go eavesdrop on a lot of the conversations the girls were having on the phone.
So you were aware of what happened at, with Bittaker and or were you not? Like, that about him and Norris.
Llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
No, at the time, I didn't know, and at the time, no one else knew. But what was happening was, that they were getting the girls stoned and they were having sex with them. And then it's just one question of another is, hey, this is the way you actually do it. You give someone drugs, and like, say, for example, I can't admit to anything because, of course, I never did anything wrong. But if you wanted to get somebody or get somebody friends, what you simply do is you give them drugs or money for something. Then once they find out that it's okay and you're legitimate, you do it again. And then you might do it a 3rd or 4th time, and then you say, hey, do you have a friend? And the first thing that happens when the friend comes over, oh, yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, I party with him, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, she just signed her friend her death warrant because you build up her confidence and you know that she is going she believes you, and of course she can have a friend. Oh yeah, I made money. I partied with these people. They're really cool and all that. And that's what was happening with them. But at the time, we didn't know that they were bumping them off. But later, when I was running amok in Hollywood, I could totally see what was going on because I looked at it at a completely different perspective. If that makes sense.
Well, you know what's weird is in 2020, when the first death row inmate brought him to me, I had looked him up and I had told the inmate to call me back, and he was like, "What's up?" And I said, "I need you to find out if he studied Bittaker and Norris." And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Okay, check this out." I go, "His victim is blonde hair, blue eyes from South Bay, San Gabriel Mountains, dump site. He grew up in Burbank, model ruse." And he was like, "No way." And I was like, "Just ask him if he studied Bittaker and Norris." Come to find out, he was 13 at the motel.
Yeah,
Well,
we all were. Like I said, we would go to the arcade through the Cambridge Park, and that's where the people would party, and they were different social. We didn't get along with them because they were we called them surfers, which were part stoners and surfers. I was more of a social person, you could say. But we all partied, and if we wanted weed or we wanted any type of drugs or whatever, that's where you would go. And I remember those people there in that hotel room. And it's just like, geez, what a small world. I'm telling you, it's the water.
Yeah, it's something.
It's something.
That's actually what one of my inmates from New Jersey says every time I go to California. He's like, "Don't drink the water. It's in the water."
Yeah.
He's like, in Los Angeles. There's something in the water.
That particular area and that particular spot, I remember when my mother was alive, you would get off the freeway and there was a street called Grismer. And anytime you drove off of San Fernando and Grismer, at the end of Grismer is the Scott's Hotel, you just had an odd feeling. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah. So what does your lawyer say? What did he say your chances of getting out?
Well, it just depends on how it's. For example, I have a couple of different actions to get out with a couple of new laws that have passed in the last couple of years. So I don't know. I don't get my hopes up, but it's a lot better than it's in the works. If I get out, that's the way I look at it. Oh yeah, I can't wait. But I'm not going to be obsessing over it. But things are looking more positive than they were.
You had said, I don't know if we brought this up on the podcast before. The serial killers kind of flock together in prison.
Yeah, because we it's kind of like a unspoken word, because I hang out with the people from death row, and I hang out with some of the most notorious ones in the entire country. And it's kind of like a friendly companionship. Yeah. Because that we look at things differently, even though I never did anything. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But we look at the other people, and they look at us strange, and they leave us alone because they all seem to,
scared
look at us like, like I'll go down the hallway, and one of my nicknames is Cereal, and it's not because I like Captain Crunch, But I mean, people know, and they know the people that I hang out with, and they tend to leave us alone.
Do you think you guys can, sense one another? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a primal, you guys can just pick up on each other's scent in a way. You can just
vibe.
Yeah.
You have a feeling, but it's a lot different than somebody that let's just say have one typical one incident. It's just a different class of people, and it's just like I was telling you in junior high or high school. You got the stoners, you got the socias. You hang with those types of people, or you hang with the technical people. And here in prison, it's we have nothing to prove. And the way it's really odd, you have these people that have been at this prison that act all tough, they're all tattooed out. It's like you got these tattoos on your face, your forehead, and I just look at you guys as a bunch of dumb shits, okay? And you're trying to act all hard, and you've been in basically a medical facility, which is basically an SNY. You know, I'm here with medical prisons, but you've been here for like 10, 12 years, and you're talking like you know, like you're this badass. It's like, dude, you couldn't even come close to any of us. First of all, everyone I know that is in, let's just say, for example, someone that does cartoon drawings, you know who I'm talking about, Laura.
Yeah, we know that guy.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
I know every viewer knows. Yeah.
We don't talk about each other's stuff. We have nothing to prove. And if I wanted to ask him directly, I'd ask him directly, and vice versa.
Do you think there's more of an openness to ask each other directly if you wanted to?
But we have the same viewpoints about certain things, which is like really amazing. You know, it's, you know, and then you get to see, like on this particular person, well, the one I'm talking about, there's no way she was the alpha. There's no way. I'm telling you, I hang out with this person and I'll see him every day. And it's like hugs and kisses, you know, it's like, hey, you know, not hugs and kisses, but you know, it's like patting each other in the back, hey, good to see you. There's no way that this person could have done stuff on his own. So that's what I'm saying. I know exactly. It takes somebody when you're working in a partnership like that,
mm-hmm.
To be the alpha and a follower. Okay, and yeah. It's just like let's just say if I ever had a girlfriend that was running amok like me, there's no way she would have been able to do anything unless I would have been there or showed her how. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I have a question for you. The things that you said that you guys talk about that you have similar thoughts about. Can you give us like an example of something that you guys would have a similar thought about? That would make you that create a comradeship.
Yeah, well, when it comes to like cases and people trying to come up to us and ask us and befriend us, it's like it's really where people will come up to us and, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? Blah blah blah. And I think it's like infatuation, and I think a lot of it's like, oh yeah, I can. I know this person, and they're going to go tell their family I knew this person. And when it comes to like females or certain things, there's certain comments that we might both say, you know, that it's like I can relate to what he's saying more than I think the average person, you know, because I kind of agree, you know. It's like the survival of the fittest. It's like when someone says you're a dumb bitch, we really mean you know, it's like saving the planet from the stupid people. It's like, well, come on, man.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It's like you're that stupid. It's like you deserve what you get if you really, you know, it's just like I was telling you how to like groom somebody in the sense where it's like, oh yeah, you keep on giving them dope, you keep on giving them money, and then like the third or fourth time, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get that person, your friend, wasted with you, okay? And it is what it is.
Laura, what do you think?
And I can't hear.
No, I was just thinking. I was I was just thinking about
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
your comment about killing off the stupid people. When
No, you have no idea. You have no idea. Okay, let me give you. Can I give you guys some examples?
Absolutely.
I think you might find this very interesting. Okay, and I think I touched on it before with you, but as you know, I ran escort services for years, like a decade or so in Hollywood, 10, 12 years. And you would get these people that didn't know who I was, nothing. I'm in a motel room, and I had numerous fake IDs and numerous different identifications, names I'd go by, cars or whatever it was. And these people would be in a motel room, and these are people think because a girl is trying to get a job as an escort, or she might need some money.
Oh, we lost him. He'll call back.
Do you guys see what I mean when I like try to explain it? It's like they think of themselves as like a higher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the narcissistic aspect of this. It's like
That's the
they're
only- yeah.
higher intelligence. They're smarter than everybody. They're a special group of people.
That's why the only way I can describe it, because I see it firsthand in the prison, is like a Mean Girls clique.
Yeah.
It's like they really think they are just like better than all the inmates and all the killers. And if you have one body, you don't sit with us. You can't sit with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because according to him, he only has one.
Well, I mean, charged.
Charged for one. Yeah.
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 Ask him if he's had one. He'll
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to say that. I mean, just, we already know.
yeah. But I just think the correlations, not only was he with Bittaker and Norris, but
Did he know Douglas Clark?
Okay.
no, you never met, or did you? You never met Douglas Clark, did you? No, because he died right before the transfer.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. That was the phone again here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example, okay?
Okay.
I particularly met this girl, extremely beautiful, wanted to do more as a big escort work, worked at one of the places in, actually on the Sunset Strip as a stripper. So I took her back to a motel room. So here's this girl, doesn't know me or shit. I'm having sex with her, and I have her hands tied behind her back with her bra, and I remember choking her out. Now, during, like, let's say, rough sex. Now, let me just stipulate this. Okay, she did that by not like choking her out, like killing her or anything like that. But this is just the way this is how easy this is. It was. I remember choking this girl out and putting my hands around her neck and strangling her. So what happened is this: she's knocked out. Okay, what do you do with a hot girl that's passed out in front of you before she wakes up?
I think everybody can kind of fill in the blanks there. You don't have to.
Please don't elaborate.
No.
Please
No. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. So this is what I meant, how stupid these people are. So this girl's passed out. So what do? I pick her up and I toss her in the air like a puppet, like a doll. And why I did that? I wanted to see how many times I could clap my hands before she hits the mattress. I swear to God, I did this. I put this on my mom, rest her soul. But the reason why I did this is like this girl was so stupid, and I just remember tossing her up in the air, and then she would come to, and I'd choke her out again, toss her up in the air, clap my hands, and I got up to 3 different times. And it's just like, that kind of triggered me, like, these people are nothing. They're absolutely nothing. And that's the way I look at these people.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Hector. I mean, what you're describing is they these are innocent people that they're not expecting anything. I mean, anybody can anybody can walk up to someone on the street and like punch them in the face, hit them in the head with a bat when they're not suspecting it, or kill them. I mean, it's not that they're stupid. It's just that we live in a society where you can, if you want to attack an innocent person,
It happens every minute.
Happens every minute. It's very easy to do. Surprise is the ultimate attack.
Was she stupid to go with you in the first place? Yes. That was a dumb mistake.
Well, is it her mistake? Because you look very unassuming. He looks like Ryan Reynolds. Would you walk up
I don't know. I have my thoughts about Ryan Reynolds.
He does look like Ryan Reynolds. But I'm saying you look very
unassuming. He's a good-looking guy. He was very unassuming as well.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with hurting somebody at the beginning or anything like that. It was the art of the chase and how it got so much. Each time you would do something, you were like overwhelmed and you got this feeling like, I can't believe that these people that you can get away with this. So it's more like a whole psych trip on bullshitting somebody and then doing whatever. And then after a while, you just kind of lose yourself, and it's like, this is fun, and it's almost like a job. It's like, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do this way?
You just like the hunt. You're after the hunt.
Yeah, you have no idea. It's higher than one of the highest highs you can get. Seriously, it's like a narcotic. Once you do it and once you start, you don't want to stop.
There's way to channel the hunt, though. You don't have to do it with humans or innocent women.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, it's not like I want to take up water painting or anything.
I'm not saying obviously, hunting a human versus water painting. I'm saying there's different things you can do, like flying lessons that like a lot of serial killers, we've talked about this, do flying lessons. It's that adrenaline. It gives you the adrenaline rush. You even did it too. There's different ways to channel that.
Yeah, well, I and everyone else I know, it's just like you start doing things like this, and then you don't put up with bullshit anymore. And then you realize you don't have to put up with bullshit anymore. And then it becomes, I'm telling you, it's like one kick in the ass every single time. And then what happens is like once it's just like kind of like that putrid sound. Do you know what intestines smell like?
Oh God! Let's move on. Next.
Here's the
topic.
thing. Here's the thing. Do you have? I mean, obviously, for something like you did with that woman in that hotel room and anybody else, is there any remorse that you feel for any of those actions?
No. I'm cutting you off right away. No. Why would I? Why would I?
Here's a question. How about this? Have you ever felt remorse for anything you've done? Has anything ever made you feel bad?
Let me put it to you this way. No. And let me tell you the feeling you get, after your alleged first murder. When you kill somebody, and I can only speak from allegedly killing this person and being in this prison, is that it's not so much the guilt that you feel, it's
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It's like you're always looking around your shoulder waiting for something else to happen, like to someone show up. And when no one shows up, it's just like, okay, you get a good night's sleep after a while. The first couple of days, it's like kind of a high in the sense like, oh my God, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. And then after a while, you sleep like it doesn't even faze you. Why would it?
Do you sleep like a baby now?
I understand why it would. Pardon me?
You sleep like a baby now?
Oh, I don't even think about the stuff that he did before.
Have you ever had a
Except
dream
when
about
I
your
start-
victims? Like, have you ever had any dreams about your victims?
Well, yeah, and you wake up with an erection. And I'm being serious on that, unless I meant to be disrespectful to the females or anything like that. But it's just like when you start talking about stuff, you start reliving, and I think I've touched with this before. It's just like when like reading your book and with Whitaker and Norris, I can totally relate to that, and I'm like having flashbacks. Okay, not so much these, what they were doing with the tools and stuff like that, but the whole art of the way they did it. Oh yeah, that's just like, oh yeah, I can totally relate to that because I guess it takes one to know one. It's like, okay, and it's the same thing with the person that draws pictures. Okay, I can totally see that where it's like, okay, that person pissed you off, and I can totally relate to, okay, if you only knew what's going to happen to you for that bullshit you did to me. So that's what I'm saying. When we're with these people, we all, in my opinion, we all think the same way.
Do they have you on any medication inside there?
I just started taking something, but I don't like taking meds. I didn't take meds for 7-8 years.
X, when you feel like homicidal urges now, what do you do to cope?
I have flashbacks and I fantasize like all the time. Like most of the time when I'm not doing stuff, it's running through my mind all the time.
Do you do anything other than, fantasize to kind of, quell it, kind of simmer it in a way instead of like fueling it?
Well, what I do personally is visualization techniques where I will redo something at a bunch of different angles with one particular person and kind of add this and that in my mind and have different outcomes. Because when you relive an experience, after a while, the experience...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
At least with me, I remember when it's like, you can have PTSD from a murder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the person that commits the murder can have PTSD from that particular murder. You know that too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the very beginning, I remember allegedly, let's just say if I did kill somebody, that I would have flashbacks of certain sounds when you move a body and a body makes a certain sound. Or you're looking up inside somebody or when you're dissecting them. And the way blood smells, or like I was trying to say, it's a putrid smell, you relive that and you kind of feel bad, but after a while it doesn't faze you. And when you go a second time, it's not that bad, and the third, it's just like, you get so used to it, it's like, oh. And then after about the third time, you know how they said like the third date? Oh no, the third time, you're like, let's open this up and see what this looks like. Let's open up this and see what this looks like,
Do you think it's you're
it
compartmentalizing?
becomes, what do you mean? Can you be more specific?
I mean, this aspect of yourself, do you think you're compartmentalizing it? I mean, when you look at like your family and your friends, and then you look at that aspect of yourself, do you think it's all one and the same?
No. As far as like my family or my friends, you gotta remember most of my friends were cops. Okay, I grew up with all those people that dads were cops or judges or stuff like that, and I never felt close to them. They were my friends. We'd hang out, but we started growing apart And I thought I was just being normal, like going to Hollywood at night. And they was like, why would you go there? Or what were you doing down that street? Or what did you do? It's like, yeah, I got in a fight and had a baseball bat. They would look at you odd. And to me, it was just normal behavior. And I guess, like, even now, like, the people I hang out with, that's normal behavior. And people look at us like, how could you? It's like, dude, it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
How do you think, your friends who were cops, how they felt when they had to bring you in? Did you ever think about,
well, my best friend I was in his wedding that arrested me.
I know. Do you ever think about how he felt?
No, because at that point I really didn't care.
If he's listening to this show right now, would you say anything to him?
What's up?
Yeah. Has he ever contacted you when you were in prison?
No. I do notice this, though. Once you get accused for murder, everyone seems to, leave you alone.
Yeah, well, I think that's obvious.
Restante de 60 segundos.
Yeah.
For some reason, all the people want to not have anything to do with you.
I wonder why.
For some strange reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, if I was friends with these people and the positions were changed, which I was, I would still say what's up because maybe I look at things differently being on this side.
Yeah.
But it's the people that were around me that were still running amok that pop up here and there, and I get messages from them now and then, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's what you're up to.
Well, what did your friend say to you when he arrested you?
She asked me where my sports car was. I had a particular type of car.
There he goes.
It's shocking to me, these threads that they all share of no empathy. Zero empathy.
Or remorse.
Remorse. Like, how are you human if you don't
they don't have that component.
That emotion. It's like one of the biggest...
It really is like a missing puzzle piece.
It is.
There. Yeah.
It's like you're missing a huge part of being a human.
I know. I know.
Like, one of our biggest traits is being empathetic to each other and understanding.
And I can't remember, what was his childhood like? Was he it sounds like he was raised in a middle class background.
Very middle, I think even upper middle class. Yeah, Burbank. 2-parent household. Remember, his dad was sexually abused him and his sister.
Oh, he sexually abused him?
He was sexually abused?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's
there's
something.
There's something. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't excuse any behavior.
No.
But I mean, maybe there's something.
That's a trigger.
A trigger for that.
The underlying components of psychopathy mixed in with the trauma. Like I always say, it's the perfect storm coming together. And yeah.
And also the sexual abuse that he conducted on people.
Well, yeah.
It's payback.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, with a lot of, sexual abuse, it's learned behavior, which is continued and carried on, unfortunately. And
we'll talk to him for like another 5 minutes.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to think what else we want to cover.
He calls all the time. I'll let you two guys finish the questions. I know how much Cindy likes him.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I just got one of those things saying I'll be disconnected in a minute. So
that's fine. We only have another 5 minutes, but I just want to talk to. I finished up my question. What did your friend say to you when he arrested you?
He showed up at the doorstep, and I knew what was up. I go, let me come out, and his buddies were there, and he goes, oh, hey, where's the car? And I go, I got rid of that a while ago. And I asked him, how's your wife? And I was telling him, well, how's this person? I just talked to him yesterday or saw him, and It's like no big deal. You know, very odd and unsurreal.
Yeah.
You know?
Were you arrested by LAPD or LA sheriffs?
Neither. Independent City.
Independent City. Okay.
What's that?
It was probably, another
Burbank PD?
Burbank.
Something like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what's quite odd though is now when I watch TV, and I was telling this to Laura, when I see things on TV and they say that this person disappeared or this or that, or they start saying, it's like, it's so clear. It is so clear how everything's done, because it's just like you're reliving everything. Absolutely reliving everything time over and over again.
Laura, what's that about?
The reliving?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, it could be a couple different things, but it's for X, he's still in the fantasy of it all. Would you agree? Oh, his phone must have cut out. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
is it off? Is he gone?
Off, yeah.
I'm very disturbed by the fact that he got a 1. She's mentioned several times that he would do this again.
Well,
this is why I did the questionnaire, because
exactly. I mean, what's interesting is the fact that the way he described how they do the assessment based upon he doesn't have any write-ups in his jacket, and then the person, I don't know how often he sees a mental health professional, but I would imagine they see it. Probably how often do you think they look
not
at
as much as you would think in prison, actually.
Is it like maybe once a year?
More than that, it's just understaffed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I mean, for what they really need, I mean, it's nowhere near what they really should be getting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially these types of individuals. I'll let us hang up with him, but what was I about to just say that was important? I'll just say it doesn't matter. So I was just going to make one point, with people with psychopathy, they do very well this is just a known fact, in structured settings. So they do very well in like military settings, and they do very well in prison type settings, where their whole day is structured.
Yeah.
They function very well in those types of environments. So they can thrive in environments such as prison, such as military. Because they're on routine, and it's taking away a lot of that impulse control. They don't have a lot of that free thinking, because
right.
That's a big part of it, is that impulse control is kind of during the day. So they actually do very well in these types of environments, and that's why we can get model prisoners, and they can look very good on paper and be functioning, very high functioning and thriving in these types of environments with antisocial behavior.
Yeah. Hey, X, I got a question for you, because you talk about all the stupid people in the world and stuff like that, and you talk about it inside prison too. Why, what prevents you from losing your temper on one of these stupid people inside prison? Because I'm sure there's plenty of them that annoy you.
Oh, because they're male.
Got it. If they were female, it'd be a little different.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're male.
Because they can fight back.
Now, let me just say this. When I first came into prison, I was fighting everybody because I liked to fight, and I was getting my frustrations out. But on the street, no. I was nice and mellow. I was helping people out and stuff like that. Helping them move furniture, stuff like that. But the only time I ever when that was an exception, when it was a male, if someone did something to you, and it's just like, okay, I got something for you later, and usually people that come up and do stuff and are just asses, they've done it to so many people, they never know where it's going to come from because they burned so many people. But on the street, oh no, it was always females. Always females.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, to be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. I mean, keep us up to date on your resentencing. Is that do you have who handles who's your lawyer? I mean, is he like a public defender, that kind of someone that's appointed by the state?
On this particular one, yes.
Mm.
The other ones were paid attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess, yeah, like Laura said, to be continued.
keep us posted.
Keep us posted.
Do you have any, do you want to give a message to the viewers, X, before we sign off? Anything you want to say to
Esta
them?
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Two things real quick. When you go back to resentencing, the court automatically appoints you a state lawyer. So that's how that works for anyone that goes back to resentencing. That's part of the law. And as for the viewers and all that, I just can't wait to get out to see everybody again. You know?
Should we be afraid that you'll be walking around on the streets?
Me, of course not.
No, I'm talking about people, society.
Stupid people.
Stupid people.
Good people.
Should stupid people be afraid of me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course not.
Mm.
I'm as harmless as a cat, a kitten, you know, as a kitten.
Yeah. Are you in good health right now?
I'm at a medical facility because I've had some issues, but nothing that's like going to knock me off by Tuesday or anything like that.
Okay.
So a couple of the viewers had wrote some questions to you. Maybe we'll have you back on and go over those questions, or even do a live with you, and maybe we could have people writing in,
Oh yeah,
asking them
I'll
live.
tell you exactly what it's. Yeah, if anyone wants to know what it's like, the feelings or whatever, I'll tell you, because I can tell you from experience. And it's nothing that might sound like arrogant or boasting, but it's just the way it is. And see, you all look like as if it's terrible and things like that. To me, it's like no big deal. It's only a big deal when you get caught. But besides that, you don't even think about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing and oversharing. But I guess we'll check back with you.
I enjoy your podcast, and still can't wait to move in with Laura down the hall.
Oh my God.
Oh my. Oh man. All right.
She's in an undisclosed location that you cannot find.
Exactly. You'll never find her.
Underground.
Underground.
Yeah.
Anyone has any questions, let me know. I'll answer them. Take care.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
I am speechless.
I am
How
speechless.
is this possible?
I know.
How is it possible that
I honestly
people get out of prison?
Well, it's as soon as they decommission
I
death
don't
row.
understand what is happening.
never thought I'd see death row. Yeah.
How is this okay?
Well,
I mean, what about the victim's family?
I know. And he's a one.
Okay, but you know there's more.
Yeah.
well,
I mean, you thought there was like a lot more.
He called his house the slaughterhouse.
For God's sakes.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is very
Well,
upsetting.
it's funny how he really kind of dangles that line of explaining how his mind works.
Mm-hmm.
He has no empathy.
He had to meet.
He'll do it again. Do
in
you
his
think he would
garage.
do it? Do you think that if he got out tomorrow, would he do it again?
Well, he's told us he would.
I'm asking Laura's.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't think he likes it. You know, he's still fantasizing about it.
Well, this is very upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if he does get out and something like that, he'll be on parole for a while. He's going to have to report to a parole officer. He's going to be under a microscope if that ever even happens.
We will. I mean, God forbid.
I think there's a lot of
If
steps.
he ever got out, we would make move. We'd have to. Make moves. I don't know. We'd have to call Clemente. We'd have to call somebody.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know what
Does he have access to the podcast?
Well, I play it for them when they want to listen to it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Well,
don't play this one.
Don't play this.
Some of the correctional officers at Vacaville have listened to it. Listen to him.
Wow.
I would too. If I was a correctional, I would want to hear what he would say.
I'm floored.
But, what's crazy is they're listening to him going, yeah, I'm going to go back out and kill people.
Yeah, I don't.
He gets a 1.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah. They have to redo that.
He did the questionnaire for you, yes?
Yes, but we haven't scaled it yet. I should call John.
Yeah, you should do that. I'm curious to see what your questionnaire scale would come up as.
We haven't had John on. We really should.
Yeah.
Let's have him on.
We have to have him on.
Go over his.
Yeah, for sure.
We should go over his.
Especially with this, absolutely.
Well, just overall on what, not only him, the other ones too.
Yeah, but I would love to hear what he says about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be
all right.
interesting.
Well, Laura, it's always great to see you.
Exactly. We're in an undisclosed location too.
Right.
We're in an undisclosed location. As you can tell from the
our background is a little different.
Yeah.
We're hiding out somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
All right. I'll see everybody next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Laura. Bye.
Bye.